All right, this next video is about a young lady who receives EBT. However, she ran out of the EBT, I guess before the month was over. So let's see how she figures things out.
All right, so I ran out of EBT and I ain't got no food to eat up in this house, okay? And I already started sizzling up these little baby hot dogs. I don't know what the hell they're called. What is it? The little smokies, okay? And the kids, they're back here screaming. They're, you know what's up, okay? And, you know, I'm hungry. They already ate. But, of course, they ate all their food and then they ate my food. So, I'm here now trying to cook more food. So, what am I going to make? That's the question. I'm going to pour in some rice and try to make rice and hot dogs, rice and smokies, rice, let's do this. I don't know. Now, I always see people just...
What the hell is rice and smokies? Man, we got to learn to do better.
So she turns the camera off in frustration. Ooh. But the thing is, right? I just realized what the subtitle said. 6 babies. You can't afford to feed 6 babies. You got your nails done. You got your tattoos and your sleeves and everything else going on.
Made sure she did that. She made sure
like,
she did that.
What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? When it comes to prioritizing, we are so off as individuals. I'm telling you. You mean to tell me that this is why it's really important. You know, you have people that laugh at certain communities because they're strategic in their way of thinking and decision making. And let me tell you something. A lot of us have to become strategic as well. It takes too much money to raise one child, let alone 6. What are we doing?
I don't know who.
This is ridiculous.
That's beyond.
This lady doesn't know if she's going or if she's coming. Not to mention the kids are in the back, they're wilding out there. She says something along the line that the kids, they ate already, but they're still hungry, so they ate her food as they're supposed to.
Right, exactly. Make sure
you come last. Once you have kids, you become last. And to see you shuffling the pot and trying to figure it out.
It says a lot about you. It says a lot about if you have a husband or a baby daddy. I know I noticed a ring or something on her finger, but we got to do better as men because this is terrible right here.
Exactly.
Clearly, what she's cooking, she can't even figure out what it is that's in that pot. She told about she making smokies and rice. What the hell is smokies and rice? What is that?
Then she's like, oh, smokies. I don't even know what it's called. Listen to me, right? The thing is, I don't sympathize for her, but I sympathize for the children. Because in this situation, a lot of kids are being, it's just a sad situation.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids are really feeling the wrath of not only having bad parents, but as far as what's going on. And, with the food stamp program about to be, cut off for a lot of people and so on and so forth. And there's food stamp deductions that's going to be taking place and everything else. When you have these type of women that can't figure out anything,
like
it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because an old school person
would have
been able to figure this out in 2.5 seconds.
What your old school parents always used to tell you?
As
long as I got bread.
Oh yeah, flour, eggs, milk, and sugar.
Right.
And rice.
They're gonna make it happen.
4 to 5 things, and that's all they needed. They found a way to turn flour into 10 different things. You know what I'm saying? They found a way to utilize rice and incorporate it in so many different recipes.
They always kept that pot rocking.
And I was going to say something, right? And I know a lot of you probably going to be like, something, Tammy, you're right about that. Like I said, I sympathize for the kids, but not her.
Right.
Because, most of us, with that work and stuff like that, we have to make struggle meals from time to time.
Correct.
And figure it out. And use our brain in order to figure it out.
That's a disaster meal. That's not a struggle meal.
It's like to see her trying to figure out what she's going to feed the kids because her food stamps are done. It is what it is. Figure it out. If you got to add some rice to the situation with maybe some adobo
at least slice the sausages.
Figure it out, or add some pasta with some pasta sauce. Figure it out, because a lot of people who work from sunup to sundown.
You got to think fast by the time you get home.
They
get
have
that meal
to make
out.
struggle meals, and they have to figure it out as well. So what makes her any different?
Right.
But it just goes to show you, right? When you're receiving EBT, you have this entitled sense to the point where you pick up prepackaged this, you pick up this, you pick up that. There's
Right.
no thinking involved, right? But now that the EBT is done, she has to put her head together to cook something that's not prepackaged.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you see the dynamic. You see how it differs. Suddenly now she has to think for herself. She's as confused as a duck.
Right.
But I'm pretty certain when the EBT comes through, oh, goodness gracious, let's pick up this. Let's pick up lasagna that's already pre-cooked.
Pre-cooked.
Let's pick up all the spaghetti and meatballs in the can.
Correct.
Listen, lady,
That microwave going to be active.
that's I'm telling you. I don't feel for her. I feel for those 6 kids. And my whole thing is this. If you couldn't afford to have them, why would you have
Why would you
6
keep
kids in the
having
first
them?
place?
And then you're going to complain about them making noise in the back. Like,
You-
the
no,
whole
you're gonna-
thing
yeah.
about you making this video with that smoky kitchen that you had, you're burning the sauces. You're not capable of doing more than one thing is what I'm just trying to get at,
But yet they keep having kids. They
Keep
can't
having
afford
kids.
them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously the kids are crying because they're in distress. It's not they're crying just because.
Right.
They're probably hungry. They're probably hot, and God knows whatever else.
Probably the diaper dirty. Or,
It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? But we as people, we have to do better.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people call certain people out, they get pissed off and they become defensive and they don't want to accept accountability. But a lot of times if people would only accept accountability, you know what I'm saying? Especially when being called out instead of becoming combative, they could learn so
Learn
much.
a whole lot, yeah.
So much. The struggle is real for a lot of us. It is.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of you are going to be very pissed off based on the fact that it's like, here it is. You work from sunup to sundown and you have to figure it out for you and your family.
Right.
You got to make, come to the table and put together what
Right.
might be considered a struggle meal,
Right.
but make it and turn that struggle meal into
Make it
gold.
edible.
You know what I'm saying? You got
I
to
know.
turn it into...
There's quite a few females out there that can really get in that kitchen, like yourself, can get
And
in that
figure it
kitchen
out.
and pop right there and,
Yes.
bring out some magic out that kitchen. Not
Yeah.
everybody can go in there and think for themselves because they're too busy being catered to.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I grew up in an era and an age where not only did we accept accountability, but we were more hands-on. Like
Correct.
hands-on.
That's the best way to learn.
Even though we came from a family who, went to college and they did their thing and they had great jobs and stuff like that, we knew to not take things for granted, basically, right?
Right.
It was just a different environment, different day and time. We had a respect for everything. Everything
Right,
that was
correct.
given onto us, it was respect. Not because
Correct.
your
You have to
parents or your
cherish it.
family had money,
Correct.
mean you're gonna go out there and destroy your sneakers and you're gonna go out there, you're gonna eat McDonald's every
Correct.
day. We probably ate fast food maybe once every 5 years.
Fast
It-
food,
you know,
fast food
Cooking
to
in a
some,
household was a necessity,
right.
so
Fast food to some household was considered a treat.
it was a treat.
When
It really
when
was.
either mom or dad says, "Hey guys, you want to go out to eat?" Everybody got excited because why? They don't do it all the time.
So I saw my grandmother in the kitchen shuffling, chefing it up,
Yeah.
rather not, chefing it up. And buy what outside besides the ingredients to cook?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about pre-packaged foods or pre-packaged dehydrated potatoes.
Right.
I'm talking about the actual potatoes
yes.
that you have to
Yes.
peel, wash, and clean, and the
You
actual
sit there-
stuff that you have to grate it on a
Yeah.
grater
You
manually.
sit there
You're not
sit there
popping
with
it in
the-
a food processor.
The big bowl in
Right.
between your leg, and you watching TV, and you peeling, and you carrying on, and you just interacting, talking,
Yes.
but that hand kept moving.
You actually
peeling.
have to knead and make your bread. You're not,
Yeah.
So I came from that era and in that environment. Like I said, we took nothing for granted, whether you had money or not. But now it's like, this is a whole different day and age. It's just different to us. But anyway, once
Keep
again,
us-
let us know what you think.
Keep us posted, guys.